this thing together. All right, so we have today Mr. Lemuel LaRoche. All right, Lemuel Life LaRoche is the founder and executive director of Chester Community Incorporated, a youth civic engagement nonprofit dedicated to the development of young leaders and critical thinkers in the Athens, Georgia area. Known in the communities that he serves as Life, he fuses chess with conventional therapeutic methods to curb impulsive behavior among youth with delinquent past. With 2 decades of experience in adolescent and community development, Life brings a fresh, innovative approach to his work. He's a subject of the documentary Life Degrio, which was released back in 2014. And this highlights the work and accomplishments that he has in the Athens, Georgia, and surrounding areas. So he has a very long bio, but I'm not going to tie you up with all the accolades. I'm just going to let him get busy and do his thing. I now present to you Mr. Lemuel LaRoche.
Okay. What's going on, man? First, again, it's an honor to be in the presence of young brilliance, right? It's an honor. And with anything, I like to start off. If you used to ask me what is something that I'm passionate about, I would say, man, I'm a poet, right? I love poetry and I love to find ways to infuse that into all of the elements and all the work that I do. Now, here's the reality. The reality is poetry going to get me fed? Is that going to feed me, right? Because we're talking entrepreneurship. How can I develop, how can I grow my family and develop my family, right? So how can I get the resources that I need to sustain and to become a part of, this fabric, right? That's one thing. Two, not only about because I represent Ubuntu, I am a part of a collective, right? So if I'm doing well, but the community that I ate from is struggling, then how well am I really doing? If I'm climbing up the ladder, but I'm not looking back and I'm not finding a way to pull some other people up with me, then what am I really doing? So what I want us to do today is I'm going to really challenge us to think a lot deeper. This is about critical thinking, right? But before I can get into critical thinking, I have to first paint a picture. I'm a poet. And I'm going to paint a picture that you may all be able to connect and relate to. This is a universal picture. This is a picture of things that are not only happening in Georgia, but it's happening in New Orleans, it's happening in Philly, it's happening in New York, it's happening everywhere. All right? So as I'm speaking, I'm gonna engage. It's not gonna be me just talking to you all, just preaching. It don't mean nothing, right? So I'm going to engage y'all in this dialogue. So I'm going to need you all to engage and connect with me. And I promise you, we're going to connect it all back to the loop. So I want to make sure you all alive. If you're understanding where I'm coming from, let me just get a thumbs up just to make sure we're alive in this room. Okay. All right. I see you, Danny. I see y'all. All right. Let's go. So let's go ahead. Little T was a good kid, but he always wore a mean mug. Too much television programmed him to want to be thug. When he's alone, he likes to draw, he likes to read. When he's with his clique, he likes the guns, he likes the weed. The simple presence of his father could have made his world brighter. That desperate yearn for Mel Bonding brought him and his gang tighter. I tried to show him how to weave through a death trap like a spider. And I told him if you play with fire, you're going to be left broken, empty on the sidewalk like a lighter. He said, life, that's lame talk. He told me the streets never lied. Till one of his boys got jumped at a party on the east side. Now it's time to ride. Loyalty and common sense collides. When his gang came to pick them up, he told me he wished he had time to hide. Eventually, every shining sun must face a cloudy day. Too many bad choices are taking our sons away. If you choose to run with wolves, be prepared to feel the scars. Don't end up another soft sheep crying behind bars. Now T riding 5 deep, still mean mugging to hide his fear, smoking to calm his nerves down with Chief Keef in his ear. Now he turned up, eyes red, his mind's burnt up. All the times we spent talking about peer pressure, but he learned what? If you roll with killer bees, be prepared to feel the sting as they let the windows down and let their guns start to sing. Shots fired, kids scattered, some hit the floor. Now little T ain't coming home again until he's 64. Okay, so I want to start here. How many of y'all know a little T in your community? Thumbs up, thumbs down, whatever. Come on, let's be real. I want us to be real with each other. How many of y'all know a little T in your community? Or a cousin or a relative or somebody that's connected to that, right? Now, little T, there's a saying, right? If you see that a flower doesn't bloom, you don't fix the flower. You got to fix the environment that which the flower grows. All right. Now you all are now responsible with that. I'm not going to say it's not your responsibility, but how do we develop environments? Entrepreneurship is a key figure to that. How do we develop environments in where we ain't going to have to keep rescuing little T's? Right? Because here's what the model looks like. Right? When little T gets locked up, when little T gets arrested, the state eats anywhere from $41,000 to $90,000 per year off of little T. All right. So let's say little T got he's given let's just say little T is given 10 years, right? And let's just say the state eats the state makes $50,000 per year off of him. How many years do we give it? How much money we get in the states? 50 times 10. Somebody talk with me. 50,000 times 10. I need some entrepreneurs up in here. 50,000 times 10. Lil D, he got more than 10 years. Let's just say he got 10 years, right? How much? Go ahead, somebody in the inbox or chat.
50 times 10 is 500.
You said what?
50 times 10 is 500.
No, I'm sorry. Let's go 50,000 times 10. We talk about 10 years, right? So let's add another element to it. You're right, but let's go. Keep going. 50,000 times 10 times 10. Okay.
5,000.
You said 500 stacks, right? So that's just little T. So when we think about, there's an economic model that is in place, right? And this model feeds off of our communities, off of poor communities. Everybody understands entrepreneurship. Everybody understands how to make money, right? And everybody understands how to make money off of us, right? So now we got to take a step back from little T, just him doing 10 years. That community has to pay up to $50,000. We talk about somebody got to feed him. He got to get some socks. He got to get some calls. We got to clothe him. All of this is an ecosystem that is built off of little T getting in trouble, right? And I'm going somewhere here with this because I want y'all, when we're talking about critical thinking, when we're talking about challenging and developing strategy, we need to first start to look at the models that exist around us. We need to start looking at the models that are profiting off of our communities. The CO, the correctional officer, makes money. The PO, the probation officer, the judge, the lawyer, the social worker, and the list just goes down the line of everybody that is making money off of little T making one mistake or making mistakes. Right? So now I'm not just here to talk about the problems. How do we solve these problems? The work that I've gotten into was more from the social entrepreneurship, right? How do I use whatever talents, whatever skill sets that I have and find a way to develop a process that we gonna grab little T. We're gonna make sure little T and his little brothers and sisters and his cousins and nobody is going through that. So I developed what's called a nonprofit, right? Nonprofit is still a business, right? When we're talking about a business, we talk about you got to have a business plan. You got to have a plan. How are you going to run this nonprofit? That's one. How am I going to run it? Two, it's a nonprofit. How am I going to make money? Everybody that's going to get into it is going to get into it for free, right? Because a lot of these kids in the communities, some of them don't have the money. So how am I going to run something in where the kids and the families can benefit from what it is that we're developing and it works, it flourishes. All right. Three, how am I going to find the resources and if we're going to have programs, how am I going to fund those programs? So what's the structure that I have in place? The executive director, the program director, I got to develop a structure, right? So I ask myself this question. When you're building a city, do you build the city first or do you build the road first? Somebody answer that. If you're constructing the city, so if you build the road, where's the road going?
Road goes to the city.
Huh?
Does the road go to the city?
Yeah, but you ain't got a city, right? So the question we asked, right? And it's a trick question, so it's just critical thinking, right? Do we build the city or do we build the road first? You said you build the roads, right? So if you're gonna build the road, you got a whole bunch of people riding, but where they riding to, right? So do
Nope,
we
I
build
got
the
that.
city? So go ahead, Kyle. What you said, Kyle?
You build the city first.
So okay, if you build the city, then how you gonna get products to the city?
Real quick, can all my students that have Kaya Henderson as your guest name, can you change your name? You
Yeah,
guys should be
I don't know why my name like that. I don't
no
know how to change
because
it.
I sent you the link that's registered under her.
Oh, okay.
Just change your name to your nicknames.
All right, my bad. I just went with the names. I was like, yo, it's like
It's
10
all right.
Kais in here. We must got like triplets, so we just gonna go with it. You know what I mean? Thinking outside the box. So it's a trick question, right? Do we build the road or we build the city? Right? And this is part of the critical thinking when we're talking about thinking through a process, right? I got an idea that's gonna revolutionize the world. Everybody gonna feel my product. Everybody gonna want it. Everybody, you know, when we get excited, we go in, right? Everybody gonna want what I got, man. I promise you, we gonna make that money. Then you put it out there, ain't nobody hit you, and you're like, man, what happened? Because it was an exciting. It was. You saw it. It made perfect sense. But when you put it out there, who knows there, right? What's the strategy? What's the plan? You know what I mean? Who's your target audience? Who's the market? What are you trying to get? Right? And it is that kind of work that we go to sleep on. We're like, yo, I got an idea. I'm just going to put it out. It's just going to pop. But somebody says, okay, well, who's your target audience? Who's your target audience? Meaning, who are you targeting? Right? Well, we're going to target a whole bunch of kids with this. Okay, because kids got money. Let's say you're going to target 9-year-olds. How many 9-year-olds you know working? Right? So if I got a product that I want to sell to 9-year-olds, who do I have to market it to?
Their parents.
But what if the parents are like, man, I'm not trying to get that. You know what I mean? So I got to find a way to get the 9-year-old hooked. Right? And I got to also find a way to get the 9-year-old to bug their parent to get it for them. All right?
Maybe have commercials.
Okay, let's I like that. You could have commercial, right? So let's say if I want to sell, I just came up with a new product, man. We're gonna figure out a way to turn a pen into a toothbrush. So that way, as you write, and if you smelling, especially everybody's under the mask these days, you smell your own breath. You gotta be like, okay, let me just turn that pen into a toothbrush. All right? How do I market that? How do I develop a commercial for that?
Find people that are willing to work with your product and believe in your product.
Finding people
On TV.
I love that. Finding people who believe in the product, finding people who are willing to work. Right? What if somebody said, well, we got toothbrush. Wow, what if the ink go on the, I don't know. You get the ink, then the ink can go on the brush. Then before you know it, somebody's brushing the teeth with ink. I don't know. I don't think that's a good idea. Right? But then we got to figure out how to come up with a commercial. Right? So think about it. Think about this in a larger scale. So when we talked about the prison is a $1 billion industry. They making big bucks, big money, right? And they ain't got a commercial. Or do they not have a commercial? What is the commercial for the prison complex, for prison industry?
The consequence your parents always talk to you about.
Yeah, I mean, we
get passed down over time.
okay, so we talk about the parents are saying, yo, don't do that. This is not a good idea, right? So this is like a negative commercial. What is a real live commercial, right, that is helping to keep the business industry booming?
The courts or the police or like TV shows that show people going to prison.
So if the shows are showing that, do you think people are going to want to go, or you think people are like, nah, I ain't trying to get up in there?
No,
Right?
No, they won't go because there's like shows, real shows that they film what's it like being in prison.
So do that make somebody want to go or not want to go?
negative thing.
The negative, right? Like, oh man, so that's like, however, this is a $1 billion industry. They eating. Right now, it's a lot of systems. You got to start thinking about systems. A lot of reasons why. right? But we got to start thinking about the commercials. What is attracting so many of our young people into the prison complex? Little T, good kid. Nah, he's doing time. He was 14 when it happened. He ain't coming home till he's 64.
Bad influences around you.
Influences, but commercial, right? And I start listening to, I'm in 50 Cent. Cameron, one of the rappers back in the days, he said 3 years, psh, that ain't facing time. I'm stressed anyway. I need that for vacation time. What is he saying there?
Getting away from his problems.
By going where?
To jail.
3 years? Psh, that ain't facing time. I'm stressed anyway. I need that for vacation time. Right? 50 cents. I did it 3 to 9. I did it 3 to 9. What is he promoting?
Going to prison.
So in some aspects, when we see that everything has some type of commercial that is promoting either consciously or subconscious. Subconscious means it's going beneath the radar. Right? Somebody's selling something to you without you even knowing. You look in the mirror and you see your favorite rapper or you see your favorite artist. You know what I mean? And we used to make a joke that if your favorite rapper started walking with, let's say, he did a commercial or he did a video with a pen on top of his hat. You know what I mean? How many people gonna start having hats with pens on top of it?
Everybody.
Right? Let's say Nike, Nelly, when he did the whole video about as far as Air Force One, give me 2 pairs. I need 2 pairs. I don't need 1. I need 2 pairs. Right? So what happened there? The stock. Air Force One stocks through the roof. Everybody made money. Everybody ate. And they used the commercial. They used a popular medium that we naturally have as a way to make money. Then they realized, look, we can start selling grills. They started the grills. And they start using hip hop as ways to what? Promote and sell products, including prisons. Right? So we see part of entrepreneurship is to really start understanding models, strategies. What are other people using as a way to sell their products? Right? What are people using? All right? And on what level can it go? So here's the thing. Here's a quick, I'm going to run a quick test with you all. I need you all to spell top. Spell top. Everybody, together.
T-O-P.
T-O-P.
Spell it again.
T-O-P.
Spell it again.
T-O-P.
My mom was cooking in a pot. Spell pot.
P-O-T.
Spell it again.
T-O-T.
T-O-T.
Spell it again.
P-O-T.
T-O-T.
What do you do when you get to the green light?
Stop.
Stop.
I mean, go.
Oh.
Are you sure you stop when you get to the green light?
You get to the green light. You go.
Right?
You go.
No, it's cool. Right? What do you do when you get to the green light? Right? You go. What do you do when you get to the yellow light? You're supposed to slow down, right? But some people speed up. And what do you do when you get to the red light?
Stop.
You stop. Right? But using rhythm, repetition. Right? You can be hearing a song, you like, man, this song is trash. And before the day is out, you singing a song. You're like, how did that happen? Repetition. Rhythm, repetition. Rhythm, repetition, and rhyme has a way of locking the mind. Even if you don't want to say something, you end up saying it. You end up doing something. But now we're going to take it to the subconscious. The subconscious is when you ride in a subway, right? It goes beneath. Subliminal, something that's beneath, right? Let's go into the subconscious, right? What do you do when you get to the red light? I promise you, it's no joke. I'm not trying to trick y'all this time, right? Stop. What do you do? And what do you do when you get to the yellow light? You slow down.
Speed up.
Oh, speed up, right? So now let's think about it. What color is McDonald's?
Red and
Yellow and red.
Okay, slow down, stop. What color is Wendy's?
red.
Red.
Red and white.
What color is Popeyes or whatever fast food you want?
Orange and yellow.
Right? But think of why is it that we see a lot of the fast foods are usually red or yellow? Why are they incorporating that in the color scheme? Because go ahead, Chris.
Because it draws attention because it's like bright colors, you know.
Because it's bright colors, it's draw attention, and you have already been pre-programmed to slow down.
And
You've
look,
already been pre-programmed to slow down and stop. Even it's subconscious. It's not conscious. It's subconscious. It's what's happening beneath the radar, not overt. And that's not, you know what I mean? It's not overt. It's hidden, right? So the question is, when we're thinking about entrepreneurship and we're thinking about marketing, we have to figure out, how do we now speak to the subconscious? How do we speak to the other layer? How does somebody see your product and love it without even looking at it? Right? How do you attract them just with the logo? Just with the color? It's all part of it. Incorporating red in the logo. Incorporating maybe even some green in the logo, right? Go to my website. So I'm gonna put something out, I'm gonna put green, go. Or red, stop, so you can watch it, right? And this is why as you start looking, every day we're talking 30,000 marketing agencies are advertising to you every day as you're driving down. You got a billboard, you got radio, you got move. Everybody is advertising, everybody is marketing to you, because that's one of the strategies, right? Because what it is about is, even if I don't get you to buy now, I'm going to seed. A seed means to plant something and watch it grow slowly. I'm going to seed your subconscious, that slowly something is going to begin to grow. And what I'm challenging you all to do is, when we're thinking about entrepreneurship, to start really thinking about, how do we go to that level? But I want to take a step back. So far, are you with me? Are y'all with me so far? Thumbs up if you're still with me. I want to make sure my people are alive. Okay, y'all alive. Nick sleep, but we good, Nick. We see you. Okay, Nick is alive. I got you, Nick. Right? Okay, so now I'm going to share something, right? Because I want to share with you what were some of the strategies that I had to use to start promoting the work that I'm doing. Right? When we talk about, hey, man, I want everybody to come and we going to play chess. Everybody like, man, I ain't coming. I'm not coming out there. It's like, yo, let's go play football. I'm coming. All right, let's play football. But how I'm going to try to promote, what strategies can I use to try to get youth engaged in the work that I want them to get engaged into, right? And I had to start thinking about a lot of different marketing, and I'm saying is, what I'm doing, this is just one strategy. There are endless amounts of strategies that can be used, that can be implemented, right? But I'm just showing you one. So let me see, do I have permission to share the screen? Okay, here we go. Let's go. All right, let me close here. All right, so let's go here, y'all. I don't want to see my desktop. It's looking crazy these days, y'all. All right, so let's go here, right? I ain't gonna walk y'all through all this. This is gonna be a little bit of this. All right, so let's go right here. It's supposed to be open and ready, but hey, I got caught sleeping. Let's go. All right, can everybody see this? All right, so I had to think of a way to say, all right, how am I going to engage my community using a more of a social entrepreneurship model? How can I get youth engaged and happy and, excited about getting involved in the work that I'm doing, knowing that ain't nobody trying to really get into chess, ain't nobody really trying to get into, book clubs and things of that. So I had to think critically about some of the strategies. So here's the thing. Can somebody read that to me, please? Can somebody please read that to me?
The child who is not embraced by the village will burn it down to feel its warmth.
What does that mean? What does that mean to you?
that love is key.
Huh?
Village to raise a child.
Right? It takes a village, right? Like, so the question becomes, man, what is causing our youth? What's causing the youth of the village to burn it down? Right? So it means to you, right? So anybody else, what does that quote mean to you? Anybody else?
I think it means that if the child isn't feeling like welcomed or loved, he will get like angry and like, I guess, like burn it down or like hurt somebody else to feel loved.
Right? Because I got to figure out a way to take what I feel, that absence that I feel inside, and I got to figure out a way to pull that out. I got to figure out a way to let everybody else feel what I feel. Right? If I'm angry, I'm going to take that anger and I'm going to direct it outwards. They call it aggression. I take that anger and I direct it inwards. They call it depression. Right? And we just start beating ourselves up and we start being the closest people around us. right? So let's go a step deeper, and I'm going somewhere with this, right? This is the data. And why am I introducing you to data? Oftentimes when we're talking about making an impact, making a sell, doing anything, you have to understand the market that you are walking into. If you're saying, okay, man, I'm gonna make $1 million in this little town, man, we're gonna sell 10,000, or we're gonna sell 1 million records in this little town, but the town only have about 100,000 people there. Are you gonna make $1 million in that little town? Nah, you got to understand data. And sometimes when it gets into that research, they call that the graveyard of ideas. When it's time for us to research and start doing that, they're like, man, I ain't trying to do that work. I'm just going to put it out and people going to come. No, you got to do some work. You got to do some research. And for me, the first step was me like, okay, if I'm going to develop something in this community, something that's going to impact, something that's going to really bring forth, I need to understand the data. Right? I need to start looking at what is the data. It's 131,000 people in this town. Right? Out of the 131,000 people, what percentage is white? What percentage is black? What percentage is Latino? What percentage is other? Right? All that is part of my marketing strategy. What percentage is old? What percentage is young? Right? What was the median household income? Medium. What does anybody understand? Math. Medium. What does the median mean? When somebody said the median household income, what does that mean in math?
The average.
The average.
Household can make.
Right? I need to understand the average. Because if I'm saying, look, I'm going to make $1 million here, but I realize that it's 78% or 50% poverty, then I can want it all day long, but if there ain't no money flowing in that town, then how am I going to be able to make some money? Does that make sense? Thumbs up if that makes sense. Right? Okay, what's the median household income? So these are important things to understand. Now, for me, it was really beginning to understand, what am I seeing in the data? Right? So in the data, it's saying that in the juvenile system between 2014 and 2018, 78% of kids got picked up for loitering. What does loitering mean?
Is that stealing?
They're just sitting around outside of a store.
Hanging out. Right? 78% is getting picked up for loitering, hanging out. 75% of our young girls getting picked up for a fray. What does a fray mean? Fighting. Right? So I need to first see theft, entering the auto, burglary. This is real numbers. This is what the data is saying that's happening in my backyard. So if I'm going to develop something in my backyard, I got to first see what the data is saying. What are other people saying about it? And then from there, now I can begin to formulate a strategy and a plan forward. So in seeing this, it's like, okay, so if we seen that 78% is being picked up for loitering, hanging out, what does that mean? Does that mean, do we have a gang problem, or do we have a youth development problem in my city? When 78% of kids are going to be picked up for hanging out, that means that we need to have more youth programs in the city as a way to attract and keep the kids engaged. Agree or disagree?
Agree.
Okay, when we see 77%, 6% is being picked up for entering an auto. 72% is being picked up for burglary. 60, almost 70% is being picked up for theft. So we're seeing that we have a problem with what? Crime. Crime in the sense of, taking, theft. Theft is a sign of what? Somebody needs something that they don't have, or somebody just want what you got, right? One of the two, right? But somebody needs something. So we have a poverty issue. So these are the things that I started wrestling with. Okay, one, we got a poverty issue. We got to figure out a way, how do we redirect what we're seeing? Now, again, what can we do now? Sometimes we want to solve problems that the governments and other things, other people have created, right? It's not our job to solve it. Our thing is to try to introduce some type of model that can, if anything, reprogram or redirect where the kids are going, right? So this is something that I'm seeing, and I think this is the first step. Whatever the product is, you need to understand your strategy. You need to understand who else is doing it, right? Who else is doing what you're doing, right? Did you just come up with that idea all day long? No, somebody else is doing it, right? And if somebody else is doing it, how are they doing it? What are their sales? Who's your competitors? They call that the SWAT analysis. I'm sure y'all learned about the SWAT. What does SWAT means? Okay, it's coming. It's coming to y'all. Your strength, your weakness, your opportunities, your threats. All right, I'm gonna put that in the group. They call that the SWOT analysis. Analysis, right? Right? Your strength, your weakness, your opportunities, and your threats. What's your strength? If I'm going to develop something, what makes what I do different from what anybody else is doing? What's my strength? Right? What's my weakness? I ain't got no bread. I ain't got an investment. You know what I mean? I don't have a location. I don't have a store. I don't have, you be real with yourself. Be real with yourself. What are the opportunities? Okay, why does this community needs what I got to bring? Why would the world buy what I need to bring? Because look, it solves something. If you create a product that's solving a problem, that's solving something, you good money all day. Because the whole thing is to find where there are holes and find a way to patch those holes. Right? Threats. What are the threats? Who else is out there? What happens if somebody want to sue you? What happens if somebody take your product and trying to act like it's theirs? Especially you're seeing a lot of that on social media. Somebody would take your idea, act like it's theirs. They end up. I've had a friend who somebody took literally the stuff that she made, and they started like accumulating a whole bunch of sales on their page, and it was her stuff, and she's like, "What?" Right? Your threats. These are real things, right? So having an analysis, things don't equate to happen. Yes, good job. That's right, Leah. You want to talk on that a little more, or Leah still with us?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, because I talk to my parents a lot about that, because they're like, parents often tell you that you're very privileged, so you should be happy, basically. Like,
Yeah.
what do you have to complain about if you have all this stuff? And I'm very privileged. I've traveled the world and everything. But things do not equate to me not having depression or not having severe anxiety or things of that nature. So that was why the quote was so meaningful, is because you want true love and you want people to understand you and be with you in your struggle, and not just have things that you feel like you can't obtain.
Man, that's a lot of wisdom there, Leah. A lot of wisdom coming from a brilliant mind. Like I always say, the future is bright. You're 100% on point with that, right? And when we're thinking about, of course, we understand that things don't bring happiness, but we also understand at some level we're like, man, look, man, I want to figure out a way to build generational wealth and not cycle through generational poverty. Because if I got to go through generational poverty, it makes a couple more challenges. When I say generational poverty, what am I talking about, Kai? Kai, I'm talking to you in the car. When I'm talking about, he took the camera off. Maybe he wasn't Kaya. But when I'm talking about generational poverty, what am I talking about? Anybody? Come on, Logan.
Like, your grandparents were in poverty, your parents are in poverty, and then now you're in poverty.
Yeah, it's generational,
Do anything.
right? Now, do you say is poverty a physical thing or is it a mindset or both?
It's both.
Both.
Can somebody break that down to me, Chris?
I feel like it's both, because you can have a great mindset but still be in poverty, or like you could be like, dang, hold on.
Now you good, you good,
Right. Yeah.
you good. You on?
Yeah, I'm saying like you could have like a great mindset. You could be like the most, like the greatest hustler ever, but like you could still be in poverty. You know what I'm saying?
Nah, it makes perfect sense. I want to, Leah, before I bring you in, I want to see CJ Walker. CJ, I know you alive. CJ, eat me, eat at that. CJ, what do you think about it? CJ's probably just want to use the bathroom. That's all good, right? CJ just took a little bathroom break. All right, Leah, what say you?
I was gonna say, everything to me is mind over matter. So if you believe you can't do something, or if you believe you can't achieve something, then you're not.
Okay.
So that's where the mental state of poverty comes from. Because when you're stuck somewhere and you can't pull yourself out, or you don't have an environment that pulls you out of that, you're not gonna grow.
Now that's real, right? It's like we start to look at, you can only see the world from one lens. I can only see it from this one space, right? Now we got to also think about generational wealth, right? When you hear generational wealth, Danny, what say you? What is generational wealth, Danny? Danny probably went took a break as well. He probably took a bathroom break. Danny, you with me, Danny? Okay, we're
Now,
gonna come back.
students, they're here. They should be talking.
Now it's okay.
Our camera should be on as well. Y'all know this.
Nah, it's good. It's good. It's good. I mean, definitely, because you don't know. I might be like, yo, I'm gonna give everybody who's on camera $1,000, right? And then all cameras come on, right? You know, but that shouldn't be your motivation, right? If somebody's really spilling something to you, you never know. I always say it costs. You know what I mean? It pays to be intelligent. It pays to pay attention, and it costs to be unengaged, right? It could cost you your life. It could cost you your freedom. You know what I mean? So whenever you got an opportunity, seize that moment. Leah, you had your hands up?
Oh, I was just going to say to explain the general generational wealth you were talking about, because I know in the CEO Club, a lot of us are in, we talk about that a lot. And that's just basically your grandparents, your parents, and now you just continuing to pass down wealth from a company or business you may have started.
Indeed. Indeed.
It creates money without you operating it. So it's
Indeed.
working for you.
I love it. I love it. I think Devora came on. Devora was about to spit something. Come on, Devora, give it to us.
I think the mindset can go both ways. As people in poverty, they tend to like do like one thing, which is like work, put some in the bank, and then people who like are like from wealthy families, they'll be taught like ways to like go against the system, like investing and stuff.
Nah, that's real. I think that was summed up beautifully, man. You put that together. You're right, right? Because it's one thing when you talk about a mindset, you're also talking about a behavior that is carried. If somebody's used to doing something, then this is all I know. I know to put my money into a bank, and in the bank it only collects maybe 0.02% interest a year. But this is all I know to put my money into. Whereas now we know the world is changing. Cryptocurrency, people are changing. People start thinking about global ways of making money, making income. But if you only knew how to put your money into a bank and sit it there, then that becomes your education. So the question becomes, whose job is it to teach? Whose job is it to find out how to expand? Right? Because I used to back in the days, I'm like, man, how are people able to make money? How can I make my money when I'm sleeping? How do I get the money to work for me? And me not having to get up and work for the money. Right? So there are so much information that is passed down from generation to generation of how to accumulate, where to put money, how to make money grow, how to start a business, how to put LLCs, and how to create a business at a young, there's so much like hidden jewels that we never got a chance to learn. It's a book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad. You know what I mean? That gets into a lot of the richest man in Babylon. And I believe, I know Mr. Phillips, you know what I mean, was breaking that down. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of ways, a lot of different strategies that could be used to build those things. But for the sake of entrepreneurship, right, I want us to start thinking about, look, the world is shifting. The world is changing. Right? We done went from a period where everybody was playing to now everybody's meeting online. Because of that, we're able to meet, right? But now, because we're doing things online, you're able to access millions of people. You talk about what, 2 point something billion people online, right? So how do I now find a way to start promoting a product? How do I promote a product into a country that don't even speak my language? Right? How do I promote something, you know, in a space where they don't even think? They think from right to left instead of from right to left. Leah.
I was just going to say, to kind of answer your question, I would say promoting somewhere that you are not used to. I think maybe the biggest key is just learning the culture and then adopting that and adapting that within what you want to do. So for example, if they learn differently, then put that aspect into your company so that it can relate to your customers and who you want to sell it to.
Hey man, look.
The opposite way, they're not going to buy it because they don't understand it, or they don't, understand your purpose. But if you bring something that's important to them, like a social issue going on in their country, and you tie that into your company, that expresses to their passions and what they view as important.
I'm saying, Lee, I know it's early. I can't wait to buy your first product. and I can't wait to get your autograph because I already know you're going to take it far because you got that mindset, man. When you're right, you can't sell anything. You got to understand, people have been studying you for hundreds of years, right? I need to understand what makes you tick, right? Now I'm gonna put TikTok, right? Because hey, you know what I mean, that's the way of, you know what I mean, programming. I got to figure out, well, okay, if I can market to children, then if I get a child, then that means I can have that kid until that kid maybe become 30, where he or she is not interested no more, because now they know what they want to buy. When they're young, I'm just gonna, you know what I mean, I'm gonna buy whatever is marketed to me, right? So they use social media and different engines as a way to promote. So you're 100% on point. You need to understand the culture you're getting into, right? You know, here's a funny example, right? On the way, I was going to, where was it? I was on my way to Israel one year, right? And you know, we had a layover in Amsterdam, right? So my boy that picked me up, he had a Benz, like he had a Mercedes. He picked me up, and I was like, "Oh man, you looking clean." He was clean. He just washed it. He vacuumed it. He was like, "Man, I'm ride it to the airport clean." And I'm slamming the door. He's like, "Yo, you slammed the door too hard." And I'm like, "Bro, it's just a door, right?" Putting the car in the back. He's like, "Yo, man, be careful with," because it was like that car meant everything to him. I'm like, "All right, man, you want me to sit in this car?" So finally, I got to sit in the car. He takes me to the airport. When I go to the airport, you know, and we fly, we had a layover in Amsterdam. And we stepped outside. It was like a 12-hour layover. I'm like, oh, I'm going to see I'm going to see what Amsterdam got to give. 12 hours. I'm going to enjoy the city. And I stepped outside, and everybody, cab drivers was driving Mercedes, dents all over cars. And I'm like, wow, over here, the Mercedes is being promoted as, you know what I mean, luxury, blase, while over there, everybody got it because they make it over there. So the value is different, right? So the same thing is, you know, somebody be like, yo, I'm walking around with Tim's and I'm the cleanest person around. You go to another country, somebody's like, yo, why are you wearing construction boots, man? It's hot outside. You're like, come on, man, these are the Timbs. What you know? It's the Timbs. I got the butters. It's like, nah, but it's hot. You don't feel it? It's hot. What do you need that for? You about to climb a mountain. But when you program a mind to be locked into an idea, to say this idea is what gives me value, then you can lock the person into whatever it is that you want to sell. So part of marketing is to first, I got to show you that what you're about to get is valuable to you, right? And this is what makes it valuable. And this is where the commercials come in. These are the strategies that you can first begin to implement. Okay, what percentage of the people purchase this? What percentage engage in that? Do the research, do the back work, right? So here's the thing. For the last 5 to 10 minutes, I'm going to show you how I was able to say, how can I take a product, right? How can I take a product of self-love, you know what I mean, having people to own their education and make that valuable in a way where a kid and the family is going to say, yo, I want that. I want to be a part of that, right? And it was a process because remember, I'm selling chess. And I'm selling, meaning I'm not selling it, you know what I mean? But I'm selling it in a way to try to encourage critical thinking, all right? So I'm going to run through this slide and allow you all to see it and allow you to see that, yo, whatever it is that you put your mind to, I promise you is going to flourish. But you got to put your mind and you got to be committed and you got to be willing to do that work, all right? So somebody said it takes an entire village. So I realized that if I'm going to do something, I need to identify who else is doing this. Who are going to be my partners? Who are my competitors? Right? Who are my competitors? Who are some people around me that I need to be engaged if I am going to make this process work? So I'm challenging you all that if you got an idea, if you got a plan, the number one, identify who your partners and your competitors. All right? 1. 2. So we got it off the ground. 2004, we've been doing the work. 2012, started engaging. We hearing about 250 kids a year just going in with all the work that we do throughout this community, not this community, but across Georgia. Okay, I started chess. Like, man, why am I teach chess? Chess is a game of strategy. It's a game of thinking. Anybody that's reacting is not going to go far at all. If somebody do something, you react to it, you ain't going far. That's not a business model. You don't react. Sometimes it's important, right? Let's react to what the market. because we need to see how does people move to this. Okay, how are we going to change our strategy, right? Chess, I figured out we got to use chess. I use chess because it was a way of really challenging, getting people to start thinking to challenge the impulsiveness, getting people to start thinking more critical about systems, about strategies, and how do you incorporate that strategy into business? How do you incorporate that strategy into your day-to-day life, right? So this is why I started with chess. All right. And I started thinking like micro, macro. Let's think of all the different agencies that I want to impact. Okay. If I want to sell something, how many different ways can I sell something? You got Facebook, you got Instagram, you got TikTok, you got social media, you got, fundraisers, you got GoFundMe, you got all these different platforms. What does it look like to engage those platforms with my strategy, right? So in this, I'm teaching you systems thinking. Systems thinking challenges us to know that if I'm going to create something that's successful, I need to grow out every compartment, every system within that, right? What is it going to take for my product to go onto market? What is the process and what is the system that is in between that? And start thinking slowly, because sometimes people are like, man, that's too much thinking, that's too much work, I ain't trying to do that, so I'm just going to give up. No. It's the opposite. Challenge yourself. Take your time. Okay, I want to get it here. How am I going to do it? I need to know who. If I say I want to get a shirt off the market, okay, where do I want to buy the shirt? Do I want to get the machine? Are there companies that already do the shirt and they just get a percentage of what I do, right? Start thinking of all the outlets, systems, understanding the systems thinking, the systems around it, all the different parts that make it work. All right, I'm going to keep going. Right, this is me just again teaching these kids, again, thinking together. Nobody on this board can make a move until everybody is in agreement, right? And that teaches you as far as thinking as a team, right? You want to identify, I might be a beast in marketing, somebody else might be a beast in finance, somebody else might be a beast in sales. Identifying your group, your initial circle, right? Thinking together, respecting and honoring everybody's viewpoint, because sometimes if it don't go the way I want it to go, it ain't happening. And how far do you go? Because there is a collective of experiences in this. All of them are learning to think together, right? That's part of the strategy of teaching them at an early age to start thinking together, so that way now we remove the pieces of the chessboard. And now we put their community on the board and says, now we put the business on the board and says, all right, now think together about developing and growing out this business. They already have some training in that. All right. So this is why we use chess. All right. But this is others. We do so much more than chess. This is what I want you really to focus on. This part right here, Project Rewire, entrepreneurship, career readiness. Right. How do we start getting the kids? And we got book clubs. We got debate clubs, and all that is part of, again, how do you make the kids interested? How do you make them want to be a part of this, right? So it's the marketing. When the kids come together, they got their own handshakes. You know what I mean? We make sure we incorporate food. Those kids who participate, who engage, they get to go to a trip. We go to get to DC together. We go to travel in other places, but they got to earn their way into this, right? So you got to be responsible for your own development. They go to the debates. You know what I mean? Making sure that they debate with the students, developing the soft skills that you needed. You can be brilliant in your business strategy, but if you don't know how to speak, and it takes time. Nobody came out the womb knowing how to speak. It takes time. You got to build the confidence. This is part of our way of helping them build the confidence. They debating, they engaging, they take the same strategies, and now they got to incorporate that to business. All right. Then we got our healing circles. This is where the circles, when you got to have a board. If you're going to develop a business, you make sure you got a team around you that can be honest. And ideally, a team of elders, a team of some of your mentors and coaches that's in this room right now that's pushing y'all through this, right? They want to see you win. So the team that you can be able to run ideas with. With this, we come together and we just talk about life. We talk about community. We talk about these important elements. But this also, when we think about it from a business, it represents, this is where I throw ideas at. Can we incorporate this? What do we get? What percentage of the students want this? You do surveys, right? Use it in social media. You got a product, I'm gonna do a survey. How many of y'all would want to get your hair dyed orange? I'm just using a crazy example. right? You do a survey, see what the response is, and that helps you to feed your product in some ways. Okay, stuff that we do in communities. This was part of your look. If I want to find a way to get kids engaged in what we're doing, one day a month, we just buy a whole bunch of pizzas and we just bring people out. Now everybody just come out and play and they eat together, right? This is part of the strategy. Sometimes you got to give. You always got to take. You got to give to receive, right? Sometimes you got to throw some samples out there. This is part of the business. Once a month, we used to do the ice cream. We just buy a whole bunch of ice cream, get kids, they all come down, we just do ice cream, play chess, and go in, right? Again, I can say come and play chess. They definitely want some ice cream, and they definitely want to get the experience, and this is all part of that, right? You said what?
5 more. Eat 5 more.
I'm sorry, what's that? I'm sorry, did I miss some? Okay, so as you can see, this is part of a strategy. If I'm gonna do something, I gotta find a way to attract, teaching them about understanding governance, how governments in your country and in your city work. You got City Hall, you got the Chamber of Commerce, you got all these important institutions in your backyard. How do we engage it, right? This is all part of the work that we do, and this is at the Chamber of Commerce, and this is where our kids had to come up with marketing plans for 2 companies. And the winners got $1,500 to really set it off. But giving your youth opportunities and understanding what these important structures in our community is for. And let me just go ahead and stop this real quick. Okay, we got about 2 minutes, right? So I'm showing you this now. I started off, we only had about maybe 6 kids. Now we got like hundreds and hundreds of kids into the program. But as you can see, I had to develop a strategy, and I had to remain committed to what it is that I wanted to do. And I had to be consistent. Consistency. You can come up with plans and ideas all day long, but if you don't engage it, if you don't be consistent, if you don't put that work in there, then that idea is going to eventually just kind of fizzle away until you pick it up again, maybe 5 years later. So consistency is key. Being able to really put your pulse. A pulse mean understanding what's going on out there. Read. Where's the market going? What are people saying? We got people talk about we may have a water crisis in this country in years to come, right? Water shortages. All right, so maybe I need to maybe get into some water development machines. Seeing where things are going, being able to be aware. Those are all the different important aspects to developing entrepreneurship on some level. It's a lot to share with y'all, but I'm now going to open up the door for any kind of questions. Go ahead, Leah.
I know you're stationed in Georgia, but is there online versions of what you do? Because that's a whole bunch that you share, which is awesome. It's like all in one, how to what you're supposed to learn in school, they don't teach you.
Yeah.
So is there online versions of what you do that?
No, it definitely, the pandemic made us it forced us to man, we got to start, we got to start opening this. This was like the quiet blessing that the pandemic did, right? But I'm going to see about first sharing a little link with you in a group that y'all can, but here's the thing. You can look all day long at what we're doing in Georgia, right? But I'm challenging you that you got a lot of the keys right there in your own backyard. You got your mentors, your coaches right here that's, that's providing what you see. I may make it look good, but there's an entire team behind me to try to help me make that work. It takes an entire village, right? And your mentors, they got that village for you. So some of the things that you say, man, I want to be able to try to engage in some of this. I want to be able to do that, talk with them. I promise you, they're here for you, right? So they're here to try to incorporate whatever it is that you're trying to do and finding ways to make it work. I'm showing you, for us to really start going into entrepreneurship, I had to first really understand, I got to develop the mind. I got to develop teamwork. I got to develop some of those important strategies, collective, so that the groups can learn how to think and how to engage and how to talk and how to, and then start moving them into the process of, now I'm gonna let you meet the city manager, now you're gonna meet the mayor, now you're gonna meet these other elements. Now once a year we give out scholarships, you know what I mean, for kids that's able to solve problems in the community. Social entrepreneurship. The world is waiting for you all, for the answers that you all are providing. The world need it, right? But for you to do it, you got to start thinking outside the box. School is going to teach you to think a certain way. You got to think outside of that, right? That's one avenue, right? That's one avenue. If you need this to be able to move forward, that's just one step. If I want to get to the second floor, I ain't Jordan, I ain't LeBron, I ain't just gonna jump from one floor to another floor. You got steps in between, right? You got your goals, your floors, you got your objectives, the steps. What's step one? What's the first objective? And once I get that first step, what's the second step? What's the third step? All right? What's the timetable? I got 6 months. If I don't get it in 6 months, I ain't gonna beat myself up, right? But I'm gonna reward myself. Right? I'm gonna reward myself when I meet my objectives and when I meet my goals, right? Those are small steps. And make sure you got a team around you, your mentors that's here. Like right now, they ain't gotta be here with y'all, but they doing it, right? They showing passion, they showing love, they're here. Make sure you utilize them to engage. So I put in just to the website so you can see some of the work we do, from robotics to all these other things. But we try to give like a little bit of everything. And now we're thinking about, how do you start solving world problems using technology, right? Because we know the world is moving in AI. So how do we get ahead of that? How do we teach coding and programming? And how do we start looking at things in that level and solve problems through technology? So those are some of the strategies, looking at what's ahead and then developing a strategy so that way you're staying relevant and that you're able to really make engage in some level. All right, so trust me. I mean, with Mr. Phillips, man, we're going to be finding ways to do more partnership and to create more. So this is not just a one-time thing. You know what I mean? We're going to be doing more things together. So Leah, just stick with the coaches that are doing things, man, because your future is bright, extremely bright. You know what I mean? All right. Any other questions? Anybody? No bad questions.
I have a quick thing. So
Sure.
I know in this club, though, the CEO club that a lot of us are in right now, we are trying to create like business ideas and elevator pitches, but solely to focus on the business ideas. I have a business idea which I'm really passionate about, but how do I create that idea into a reality? Because I feel like all the information we get each week is, you know, a lot of information. It can go over your head so quickly about the logistics that go behind it. Because I feel like once you have a passion, it's like, yeah, let's do it. But like now you have to actually like do adult stuff.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
money and banking and all that other stuff.
Yeah. So it says the road of 1,000 miles begins with one step, right? And a lot of times we have the power to where when we imagine it, we see the completion. In fact, we be celebrating before it's even done. Man, I'm gonna have money. I'm gonna be driving the cars. I'm gonna buy my mama a house. It's like, bro, you ain't get the business off the ground yet, right? Let's take the first step, right? So I think the coaches, what they're doing now is the first step is, well, I'm just gonna give you the information that you need. That's number one. And then two, now we're gonna start giving you the steps. Step one, right? Do you got a logo? Do you have a business logo?
I do not.
See, okay, so like I'm ready to go, right? I'm ready to go. I'm ready to get the business up now. There are steps in between, right? You got a business logo. Do you got a business license, right? Or what's the cost for your business license in your city? You know, it costs $50, it costs $100, whatever case. What does it cost for you to operate business in your city, right? Two, what is going to cost for you to create the first template? I don't know what the product is, right? But if it's a product, what is it going to cost? I need you to make either design this is somebody's idea. Somebody came up with this idea, right? Look at this. Somebody came up with this mouse. Say, yo, and now whatever was in their mind, I'm using it. You know what I'm saying? I'm using it. So it's dope. I like the way it sits. It fits perfectly in my hand. It moves smoothly. So create your prototype. Right. So the first thing is create your logo. Right. Then we're talking about if you had your business now, how you gonna promote it? How you gonna get it out? Do you have a business page? Did you create a social media with your business? Now, you don't want to go ahead and create the social media first. If we talk about the city or the road, you can start creating social media for your page, but you ain't got a logo. You ain't got, you know what I mean? You don't have all the other important steps before you can go there. So what I'm challenging you and the coaches is here. They got you. They gotta give you the information first. CEO, I gotta get you the knowledge. And once you get the knowledge, now we're gonna start putting the implementation. Now we're gonna start putting step by step. First week, I need everybody to put your logos together. Let's look at logos. Let's take an opportunity. Let's look at 10, 20 logos. What's your business? Look at 5 other logos that do something similar. Look at their logo, right? What makes their logos dope? What makes their logos corny? Man, it's trash. The logo is trash. My logo would have this and this and this. Be thinking, even down to the font. You know what font is? What makes the font? Yeah, but how does the font? Right? There's certain fonts. Like, you research, man, what is the #1 business font in the world? They will give you that answer. Right? And you look at that, be like, man, that's a trash. But the mind has been programmed to want that font. You may be like, man, I want my font to be scribbly and this. And somebody look at it and be like, that's dope, but I have no idea what that said. Right? You know what it said. It was dope in your head, but somebody else don't know what it says. So there are steps, right? And right now, be patient through the stepping stones. Be patient through that process. The coaches are giving you the information now. It's a CEO club, right? We won't give you got to first get a CEO mindset. You got to know what's out there, and that information is heavy, right? And we're given to you, not for you to just come when it's time for the club to look at it. Here's a little homework. I need you to start looking at this. I need you to look at that, right? So we give you information so you to start breaking it down into smaller chunks, and then what's next? Your coach is going to start putting down what is step 1, what is step 2, step 3, step 4. Now, how do you pitch? Now, how do you invest? How do you crowdsource? How do you together, or everybody as a group? The coaches ain't ready to say, okay, everybody, we're going to go down to the Chamber of Commerce. You know what I mean? And we're going to pitch it to, they ain't ready to, it's steps. You got to get y'all ready. You got to get y'all in the space first. Get y'all comfortable. And then it says, all right, now let's actually put this thing into motion. So it's a process. Be patient through the process, Leah. Okay? All right. Kaya. Kaya, you had your hands up, Kaya? Yeah, yes. I got like 3 Kayas on the screen, but definitely you. Yes, you.
Me?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I thought my name says Logan.
Oh, I'm sorry. I see Kaya. I'm sorry. I see Kaya on the screen.
Back. Sorry. Do you recommend starting a business and then a nonprofit, or just a nonprofit, but like learn how to make money from your nonprofit?
So here's the thing. You know, if you're going to create a nonprofit, why are you creating it? Right? So if you're going to create something, you want to create it so that you can solve something. Like, I've created this nonprofit as a way to really, when I looked at the data and I looked at youth development and I'm like, yo, I can create something that can be a pathway that can either feed into entrepreneurship, that can feed into workforce development, that can feed the kids into schools, that can feed them into something. So I won't say, and I'm saying, I may make it look sweet. It's work. Anything we do is work. It's work. So if you said create a nonprofit, I would say, I would have to ask you, why do you want to create a nonprofit? A nonprofit was my way of saying, I'm going to use my power, I'm going to use my network, my resources, and I'm going to find a way to inspire a lot of kids with it. Right? So to run a nonprofit, it's a business. You got to have a business model. Right? So me, what is up to me? I can point my camera over there. I got books. I'm an author. I sell books. You know what I'm saying? I sell other stuff. You know what I mean? So we got to sell shirts. You know what I mean? We got to create hats and chest hats with 3Ds. So we got to come up with creative ways to do it so that we can sell it, so that the money can go back into the nonprofit, so we can make sure that the program director eats, that people have different ways of eating. When I'm saying eating, meaning they're getting paid to do the work. They're not just doing the work for free. And y'all be careful with this, right? A lot of times, you'll find that the world will love for you to do stuff for free, right? Everybody wants you to do stuff for free, and they're getting paid to do it, but they want you to do it for free, right? So always say on the chessboard, use me, don't misuse me. Don't misuse. Don't allow yourself to be misused, right? And don't allow these people to just, use you, use your creativity, use your intelligence, and they figure out a way to make a whole bunch of money on you. This is how the world works, and the world's always worked with that, especially with our communities, right? Our communities, in a lot of cases, in poverty. You see it in hip hop, you see it in acting. These people are selling all these records and they broke and they end up homeless. But yet the music is being played all over the world, meaning everybody else ate off of them because they don't understand the basic principles of business, because it's shrewd, it's cutthroat. So to answer your question, if you're going to get into a business, I don't want you to think you got to go through the nonprofit first to get to the business. No, there are two different fields. Business is for profit. I am selling this so I can get money from it. A nonprofit is I am creating I'm creating a platform in where kids can get the service for free, and I'm finding other ways to create it through grants, through fundraising, through sales, through I'm finding other ways to feed it so that we can keep these programs going, right? So this is a nonprofit. I work full time, so I have work, but the nonprofit is how do I find ways to impact my community. All right, so some people call it social entrepreneurship. Thinking about ways to, engage the community and where everybody benefits in some way, right? So this is an opportunity to put kids to work. Kids come up, they develop products, they sell it, they understand how to develop entrepreneurship, learning these skill sets. This is all part of, how we try to give back. So to answer your question shortly, I won't recommend you going into the nonprofit until you're ready. You have your team, you know what you're trying to do, you have the network, you're trying to get that going. That's when I will recommend that. Or maybe some people, when they make their business, when they make their millions and millions of dollars first, then they create a nonprofit, and that's a way of them giving that money back, put that money back into the community so that they can inspire and influence others. So I would say get your business first and then create your nonprofit. Make sense? All right, Leah, before I ask you, I want to give anybody else an opportunity. Anybody else, first of all, let me get some thumbs up if y'all still alive in this room, if y'all still with me, if y'all still feel like, okay, all right, that's what I'm talking about. They here. I want to, anybody else, have y'all saw this as something that is beneficial? Is this something that makes sense? Thumbs up or thumbs down if you felt like this was valuable. What I'm saying is valuable. Okay. All right, so anybody else have any questions before I go back to Leah? I promise you, there's no dulls, no dumb questions. It's when you don't ask the question, you be like, man, I should have asked him this. I should have. Take advantage of that now, because I'm an open book right now. All right. So I'm going to go back with you, Leah. Any question, Leah?
Well, it wasn't more of a question. It was kind of a statement.
Sure.
Like there's so much genius that isn't discovered. So I thought I'd commend you on that. Because there's a lot of kids who get pushed to the side and people take advantage of their ideas and call it theirs because they're more popular, or like same thing with TikTok. Like the people who create these dances and create these dances that make all these popular TikTokers famous are little African-American kids in their bedroom just making dances because they're creative like that. Yeah. But then they don't get the credit, they don't get the money.
Yeah.
Other millionaires do, and they live in these like expensive houses, and I'm like, well, this is the creator. I think that's pretty cool because
you're right. You're 100% correct. And see, it's like this. If I'm gonna be completely transparent with y'all, I'm gonna show y'all something, right? When we talk about the work that we do, I saw a video one day, and everybody's talking about STEM and the future of technology. And in this video, I didn't see any, kids of color, right? And I was like, man, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and create a robotic competition. And with that link that I sent y'all get a chance. The last one, y'all get a chance if you can to watch it. It walks you through a lot of the different things that we're doing in this program, and you'll get to see this robotic competition. So I had to find a way. How do we utilize, because everybody else finds a way to make money off of you, right? How do we find ways to hone in and make, because we bring so much style and energy into the work that we do. So how do we find a way to bring that style and bring that energy into these fields and make it attractive? And this is a video. Look at the video. Look at the commercial. The commercial is everything. You see it? The commercial is everything. How do we get our kids to actually want to get into robotics and to try to build these engineers? Because we got that mindset, right? But we just don't have access to the equipment. So my job, or our job, Mr. Phillips, and I'm sorry, Mr. I don't know your name. I just see
Henderson.
Mr. Henderson, Mr. Phillips and Henderson, our job is to say, man, we're going to take all the knowledge that we have and we're going to pour that into you all so that you all can take it to the next level and you all can take it further than what we're doing. So in that process, commercials, we got to come up with, we got to take our culture, our rhythm, our energy, the positive aspects of it and promote that and really push that. So, and this is a way for, people are going to always exploit. This is what the country is built off, exploitation. I'm going to eat off of your label. You know what I'm saying? For free. You know what I mean? This is what it's built off, but you don't have to go through that, right? And that just means what you just said, owning your genius and being confident in your genius, but understanding that there are steps. You know what I mean? Sometimes the mistake we make is we get so excited about something that we just jump out there without even, building the steps before we go out there. So somebody else saw it, they'd be like, yo, that's genius. So they take that idea and then they do it and they end up eating. You'd be like, that was my idea. You got excited and you jumped out there without doing the research, without taking the steps. So the challenge is, owning your genius, right? Owning your genius and relying on your mentors, man. They're here, man. They're here for you. Our job is to make sure y'all good. That's it. We want to make sure y'all good, man, and y'all can push it forward, because future y'all going to be teaching this to a whole nother generation of kids. It may have a new social media called spoon fork. You may have kids go spoon fork, it'd be stupid, right? But we don't know, you know what I'm saying? But your job is going to be to take whatever is being learned, grow it out, experience it, and take it further. That's the challenge.
I don't know who to trust with your ideas and things like that, because I've heard before that, in general, I try to live by this, and that's always to not talk about what you're going to do, but show people your result, because people like to, again, like eat off of you or take your genius and take what they've done and kind of steal it from you. So I know a lot of us in this group have passions that we're super passionate about. But how do you know who to trust with that so you can progress in your own lane?
You'll start.
Other people feed off you because you jumped the gun too fast.
You got your mentors. I would just say, that's you got your parents, you got your mentors. Rely on them. What I'm saying is, don't jump on social media. I got excited one time, like, yo, la la la, and I'm saying something, and before you know it, somebody else take the idea and they develop it before you do. You know what I mean? So it's the patience, because we're passionate people. We're getting so excited about things because, again, we count the money before we even got it. Yo, I'm gonna do this and this and this with it. You ain't even got the money yet, right? So that's a passion. That's something we create. We can envision. We got the power to project. And now there's a patient process to it. There is that development stage, and this is where I would say start by trusting your mentors. Start by trusting your parents. Start by trusting each other. You know what I mean? If we're gonna, first of all, disclosure. Before contracts. A lot of people we hate that, right? We train not to read. Oh man, I don't want to be. Man, just sign me, man. I just want to make me sign me. I'm gonna sign anything. And you done sign your deal. You done sign yourself over, and this is why we got a lot of people that die broke, right? Because they didn't sign deals that they haven't even read. So contracts, disclosure. I'm about to disclose some information. And I need all of us who's going to be together to sign an agreement that we're not going to steal it from each other, that we're not going to do this. Now let's work together, right? Disclosure agreements. And if somebody violate that, then you have opportunity to take them to court, right? Trademark. If you're going to put something out on social media or anything, you make sure it's trademark. You make sure that people know that it belongs to you and somebody else can't use it and eat off of that, right? So these, and the world is changing. A lot of those contract and those old rules are starting to change, right? But the most important thing is trusting your mentors. You see, here's the thing. You know, you got Mr. Henderson, Mr. Phillips, you know what I mean? They hit that. This is what they do, right? I was just coming to just give y'all a little boost and let y'all see that this is, you know what I mean? That's all. They was like, yo, just, you know, let them build. But they got all of the knowledge, that a lot of the knowledge that you need, right? So trust them through the process of how they developing you all, right? But that trust factor is key, right? They're not going to take your ideas and do nothing with it. You know what I'm saying? They want to make sure y'all are good. You know what I'm saying? So trust your mentors. Trust that. I think that's the first step.
Thank you.
All right. Any feedback? Any feedback? I like to go. I know some of y'all like, man, I'm shy. I don't want to talk. I might say the wrong word. But I want to kind of go around, man. And what do y'all learn? Give me maybe 30 seconds. What y'all got from the day? I'm gonna try and hit everybody, right? So we're gonna start with you, Logan. Start with Logan, then Leah, then Chris, then what is it? Mackenzie Jones. So I'm gonna go through. So let's go.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I learned that the structure, you have to learn your structure before building your business. You can't just like rush through it all. It's like a step-to-step process, and if you miss one step, then it could all crumble.
Yes, indeed. Some people are able to jump. You know what I mean? So maybe some people may be able to do that, but I would say at least have the foundation. Great work, Leah. I know you've been writing like crazy. Give me about 15, 20 seconds. What you learned?
I learned to invest in what you're passionate about and then work on the business side later. Find a passion, because I think that's what you did, is try to invest back into your community and the people around you. So find something that can solve a problem so that people feel the need to invest in something if you want to change the social climate of your environment.
Real talk. Great work, Leah. Mr. Henderson, what you got from the day?
A lot. You're never too old to learn new things. I've learned a lot from you. Some things that I'm going to incorporate into my own business structure, and some things that I need to reinforce with the kids, especially with the logo thing. I can talk forever, but I'm gonna leave it at that.
Give thanks. Chris, talk to me. I know you got something, Chris. What you got from it?
I learned that, literally almost any and everything that you do, you just gotta put it your like 110% in almost anything you want to do in life. Really, that's what I got from it.
Talk about put 100 in there. Mackenzie, talk to me. What you got from it? Go what?
I learned that you're supposed to collect data and understand your group on how to bring people into buying what you have.
All right, real talk. I appreciate that. Mr. Phillips, what you got from the day?
Oh man, me and you go way back.
Yes, sir.
And every time I hear you speak and you start communicating, man, I get inspired and I get motivated. It's like, I gotta step my game up.
Nah, you already doing your work, bro. We like you said, we doing it together, right? Here's the thing, we're not the puzzle. We're all small pieces of it.
Of course,
so play your role on that puzzle.
Of course, man. But again, I appreciate you, man.
Nah, give thanks. I appreciate you.
Yes,
right?
Sir.
I see GP2. I don't know what that is, but I'm just gonna go with it. GP2, what you got? There we go.
I definitely, when it came to information, it was the part about consistency and making sure that you start off with something that's going to grab attention so that you keep people coming back.
That's what I'm talking about. Appreciate that. Nick got the old Bulls, man. What need you know about the Bulls? You got the old school Bulls, Nick. Nick, what you got from today?
All right, so I learned about two things. One, about everything's basically commercial, like the prison system. Though you don't think about it, it's really commercial and stuff. And I also learned about like the kind of repetition, about like looking at colors, and subconsciously you're going to stop or you're going to slow down and go to like a McDonald's or something, and stuff like that.
Yeah, man, that's you on point with that, right? So start looking around, looking at the logos. You want ideas? Start looking at what other people are doing, right? I think the screen shifted a little bit. I'm gonna go with Kaya. Kaya,
I learned that you have to know who your audience is and what they want, so your product or whatever you're selling.
yeah, you know your market, right?
Yeah.
There you gotta know your market. I know I'm not gonna try to sell gold teeth to senior citizens. You know what I'm saying? So they might have all the money, but they ain't gonna buy the gold teeth. So if I'm gonna sell something, I'm gonna sell something to the grandchildren, so maybe the grandchildren can get them to buy it. So you gotta know the market. Good look. I'm going with. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Go with Kendall. I think Kendall was in the room with Kaya.
Kendall. Kendall's like.
I learned about like taking steps, like having to plan out what you're doing before you do it, and you can't like just jump straight to like selling stuff and making your business.
Yeah, that's real. No matter how excited it is, you might be like, "Nah, I need to shoot it now. I need to let everybody know it now," because we get hype. I've made a lot of mistakes like that. That we get hype, and it's like, "Yo, slow down, put a plan together," and it becomes easier to engage after that. I'm gonna go with Devora. Devora. Okay, Devora probably stepped out, used the bathroom. Okay, Devora. Here we go. What did you get from the day, Devora?
I learned that there's a difference between wealth. Like you can get different types of things. You should go into something that you're passionate about because you're gonna be more likely to continue, and that you should make you should do like nonprofit organizations later after
Yeah.
you do it.
Now, real talk. I'm glad, Devor, you was listening. You know what I mean? It's go with your passion, right? And if you're passionate about it, that passion is like the fuel to your car. It's gonna keep you going. If you're not passionate about it, you're like, man, it was just an idea. I got another idea because we're good for ideas. We got ideas after ideas, right? And I had to learn to like, yo, start step at a time. All the stuff that we doing, I didn't just start by doing all that. I started with one, then 6 months later, I started another one, and it was just slowly bringing it all in. Another year, bring another thing on board, and before you know it, you see all this. You're like, man, you're doing a lot, but it took time to develop all that. The city or the road? What do you build first? Let's go with. I'm gonna call it GYG. Gigi. Oh, disappeared on me. That's all good. Let's go with Danny. Danny. Danny stepped out, used the bathroom. I got you, Danny. Then we're gonna go with Madison. Madison, talk to me.
How to promote your business and to take your time while you're like developing your business and be like being careful who you tell and who you trust, who you tell your business about.
That's real. Real talk. Appreciate you, Madison. CJ, take us away. CJ.
Yes, I heard you call me earlier, but I was actually in the grocery store, so couldn't talk there.
All good. All good. Take us away.
But thank you so much for just sharing your knowledge. Really inspired by your organization and everything that provides, and my hope is that we be able to definitely partner up and see what we can do for the kids in Richmond.
Oh man, you know Richmond. Man, I used to always visit Richmond back in the days, man. Richmond was wild. You know what I mean? Richmond was wild. They used to call it South Brooklyn, right? Like, well, Richmond was wild. But it's a lot of good spirits and good energy out there. It's a lot of good, and I'm all in. I mean, Mr. Phillips, man, we've been talking for a while. It's just about us really connecting and seeing how we're gonna grow this thing out. I got Mr. Phillips' book. Like, that's gonna be part of our kids gonna be reading that book. as part of their entrepreneurship. So this is how each one support each other, man. So respect. I'm looking forward to that, CJ. We're gonna make that happen.
Yes,
All right.
yes, sir. Thank you.
All right. Leah, take us away.
I was just gonna say thank you for including like art within your conversation with us, because normally on these like Zoom meetings or whatever Zoom meeting you baby in, just getting talked at does not, at least to me, like I learn so differently. So adding that art element and starting with like, something that you're passionate about, and I also love poetry, so that was super nice to like get hooked with something, and then like you have to imagine and like develop your ideas based on what you already know and getting new information based on that. So
Man, the future's bright, man. The future's bright. Thank you for taking the time to listen. And I think that's the strategy that I wanted to take y'all away with this, right? If you only got 30 seconds, they said the attention span of people have the attention span of a fly wing. You only got like around literally 6 seconds. And if they ain't hooked in about 6 seconds, they're like, I'm done. You know what I mean? I get bored. I go to sleep. So I had to start with poetry as a way to just bring you in. And then, so as you talk about the elevator pitch, when you talk about trying to bring somebody in, you got to catch them. Eat hard. You got to hit them hard. You know what I mean? With something sometimes controversial. People like, they said, did you know that, you know what I mean, E.T. once, let me stop. You ain't got to go to E.T. on them. But you want to go with something really catch them. And then once you got them, and then will them in. All right. So again, I appreciate you all for taking the time. Y'all just came from school and y'all still came out on and y'all still made it happen. So respect. It shows everybody that y'all are passionate about this, and y'all was paying attention. Even though the screen was off, y'all was paying attention. I respect y'all for that. All right. So Mr. Phillips, Mr. Henderson, Mrs. Walker, give respect. Thank you so much for the work y'all doing for that community. You know how to get a hold of Mr. Phillips. Let's make it happen.
Sir, yes, sir. So again, thank you so much for coming out and doing this presentation for the children. Share your social media. How can they find you online?
Okay, Instagram. Oh man, I be forgetting all the time, right? Is Life the Griot. That's the Instagram. Facebook. I don't be really on this social media stuff like that. Try Life the Griot. And also you can just look at Instagram and Facebook. Just put chess and community, that logo, and you'll get a chance to see all the cool things that we got going. And we'd love to set up one day to get our kids down here, talk with y'all as a big group. There's so much ideas of things that we can do, and even us coming up there or y'all coming down here, you know what I'm saying, we can do things, man. This is what it's about, right? Each one teach one. Let's bring our minds together and let's build, let's change this world, because it's waiting for y'all to do that, right? So appreciate y'all, man. Respect y'all.
All right, now again, thanks everyone for coming out this evening. And again, thank you, James. We're definitely going to connect. CJ, yeah, Lemuel, CJ is one of the partners with my organization. She's one of the co-founders as well.
Okay.
In Richmond.
All right, most definitely. CJ, very good to meet you. And again, I got to get back up to Richmond. You know, I used to go every summer. You know what I mean? But I got to get back out there. CJ, not CJ, James, I think Mr. Henderson, I just send you the math.
I got it.
Okay. All right. So look, respect. Leah, everyone, y'all keep going, man. Y'all got it. Y'all got it. Y'all got it. Okay. Y'all got it. Keep going. Okay.
Great.
All right, man.
Everyone have a good night, and thanks again. We'll talk to y'all soon.
All right.
Bye. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
bye.
Thank you. Bye.